rules. Everybody always got the common story where, like, man, my daddy was locked up, we grew up in the house, everybody got the same story. But it was like, my story was, my daddy didn't snitch on the biggest gangster in the world, Larry Hoover. So he got 26 years for that. So me growing up with my mom and my brother and them, it was like, couldn't nobody tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I had to choose my road. So me being bad as shit till I just started realizing life. So now, when I be in my kids' life, it's like, okay, bet I gotta do better. But
just a few days before Lil Durk got indicted, he had one of his biggest concerts to date, and he was also pulling closer to God through his daily walk in life and his evolution of a man. And in today's video, we're gonna cover Big Durk, Lil Durk's dad, as well as Lil Durk's walk with God to a degree, and how that could possibly be a factor in what he's going through today. Big Durk, Lil Durk's dad, went and did all of that time in the penitentiary based on the fact that he did not want to tell on Larry Hoover, the leader of the GDs, and he went and did his time and stood tall as a man should.
One of the other interviews, you said that your dad was caught with like $8 million, 6 bricks.
yeah, that's why I wanted to be just like him. Said 8 million, shit.
Damn. So your dad had $8 million in the stash when he got busted.
8 million. I wonder why the fuck why he had it in that spot.
Wow. Because you don't really see like people stacking up that amount of money in the streets.
No, you don't. But like nowadays, so many people telling, and everybody want to be low profile. But nowadays, you never know. Everybody want to sell drugs. Everybody want to rap. Everybody ain't doing what they supposed to be doing, basically.
How many years did your dad get when he got locked up?
They gave him he's still fighting his case. They gave him life, but it's looking good for his case on the appeal back, so he will be turning the streets again. I'm gonna hold him down till he get here.
Do you talk to him a lot?
Yeah, I talk to him every day.
How does he?
When you first caught your case, your federal case, how did that actually transpire?
Well, actually, I was on my way to 26 in California to go to a court proceeding. So soon as I was walking up the stairs to go through the doors, the feds was coming out the door and they grabbed me right then and there, took me to another side door, right out the back behind the building, into a car and shot me down there on Van Bruin to the federal court building. They put me in this interrogation room, and it was a couple of agents in there. It was the U.S. attorney in there. And they said, listen, because I have a driver who brought me there and dropped me off at the front of the place. And he wouldn't park the car. They said, listen, don't nobody know that we got you right now. No one. They said, we'll put you right back on 26 and your driver don't even know you gone already. We'll put you back on 26 if you give us Larry Hoover. I said, what? I said, you give us Larry Hoover, we'll put you back on 26 and you'll work for us. I went in my pocket, pulled out the card to my lawyer, slid it on the table, and said, call my lawyer. And from then on, 26 years later, here I am, free man, without telling, without compromising, without being someone I'm not, rats, stool pigeons, you know, people who tell things to get out. You know, this is the type of life, we don't live this type of life. You know, I'm a Muslim first and foremost, no doubt about it. But even in Islam, we don't believe in telling, we don't believe in rats, we don't believe in stool pigeons. So for someone to try to tell you to tell on somebody else to save your own neck and all this, you get in this thing, you hold your own weight. You know, that's how people got to look at it. I'm in this, and I hold my own weight. You don't bring nobody else into this. You don't tell on nobody else to save your own skin. Get out of it. That's not your lifestyle. That's not what you're about. Get up out of it, you know. But when the thing hits, when it hit, the impact come in, you continue to stand strong. And you continue to go down for what you believe in. And don't bring nobody else down with you. You know, I like the I think it's Jeezy. I like the little saying he's saying in his little rap song, if you ever get caught up, don't mention my name. You know, that's just one of the slogans I like, you know, and that's one thing people should take as an anthem. You get jammed up, don't mention my name. Don't mention nobody's name. Just do you, you know.
With the Muslim transition for Big Durk, in my opinion, right? He must have put the old life down and came renewed, right? He started a part of his life of redemption, right? Which, for y'all that don't know, redemption is how you give back. It's an ongoing process of always giving back. Now that can be the redemption to God, that can be the redemption to the family around you, your friends, blase, right? So on this redemptive path that Big Durk took, right? When he got home, he ultimately was reunited with Lil Durk, right? His other son had got killed, right? D-Thing had got killed. Now, Lil Durk, after his father's arrival, started getting closer to God himself. And, you know, even in the last few days before his indictment, you know, he was taking part in many various Muslim activities, right? I don't know the specific ones, but y'all can do y'all's due diligence if you really need to know them. Nonetheless, the man was pulling closer to God. And for me, I know through life experience that when you try to get closer to God, things might tend to get harder for you. You know, a lot of people will, especially people that become new to the faith or become new believers, you know, when they start devoting themselves to God, they start having harder times, right? Life starts getting harder because that process is a redemptive as well as a refining process that God does to the chosen ones, his children. And that's a purifying process that really is going to see where your faith is at, though. You know what I mean? Is your faith really going to lie in God and knowing the process? And it's an ugly picture, right? To know that Lil Durk is going through what he's going through right now, you know, even though his heart may have turned over from that old heart that might have been the heart that ultimately led him to do or be involved with in the whole nine, right? A man can always change and always evolve. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. And Big Durk was and still is a huge picture of that, though, right? He's a refined, changed man, right? And the stuff Lil Durk is going through now is similar to what Big Durk actually went through when he got arrested and went and did all that penitentiary time, because Big Durk, one of the people that told on him was one of his own cousins.
Police,
right?
Big Durk says that he never thought the money would ever stop because he was running an airtight operation. He said that he was on the streets 24/7, but the cops were only out there 8 hours a day. So there was no way they would ever catch up to him because he was always a step ahead. He thought that maybe he'd eventually retire from the game, but never thought he'd actually get caught. Despite his careful planning and hustler mentality, the police would eventually catch up with him. Big Durk would be arrested for distribution of cocaine and sentenced to life in prison in 1994. He was accused of being the primary organizer of a crack cocaine empire that lasted from the fall of 1991 to May of 93. Durk would even go as far as sourcing the cocaine and then cooking it into crack himself, which he would then bag for individual sale. He had a huge network of dealers who would help him push the product on the streets and even count the money for him. His top men, Robert Shipp, Mario Dunlop, and Alton Mills, would be arrested along with him and also receive life sentences for their participation in the drug trafficking ring. Their empire all came crashing down after a woman named Tasha Woods, who was involved in overseeing the street sales of the crack, agreed to testify against them in court. What made the snitching even worse was that Tasha was Mario's girlfriend and Big Durk's blood cousin.
That got the whole little situation, and here we are with Lil Durk, and now the whole situation is even with the credit cards and all that stuff. The wire, OTF Jam wore a wire for 2 years. Childhood best friend bought him house, car, dropped 50K large on him as soon as he came home. And the thanks he get is dude wore a wire for 2 years and got all these conversations, and he don't give a damn. He gonna sacrifice the breadwinner for his life, though, right? But is that inherited, though? Is that the sins of the forefathers right there? Is that a generational curse that Lil Durk is going through right there? Because, I mean, you think about it, right? You know, the DNA carries the strong suits and spiritual properties into this world as we know it, right? The one drop of semen, right? That semen, that one little sperm that does all that work, right? That does all that work. The one little sperm, that one little sperm that gets in there and becomes a life, right? Becomes you as a baby, grows big, you know, the whole process. Now, could there really be the sins of the forefathers carrying in that seed of his right there into this world right here? Now, little Durk, his whole prophecy of life is to repeat the struggles of his dad to a degree, but he can't break the shackles of it, right? He can't break the shackles without God's help. God is the only help that little Durk or Big Durk ever have in this battle right here to break those chains of a generational curse. But y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think. Is this anything to do with a generational curse? Let me know in the comments below. Now, we see Larry Hoover, we see Big Durk, we see Tookie Williams, we see all these motherfucking people who are like legends to the street, right? That when they get locked up, they get stuck with that bid or the chance of never coming home or death, the death penalty for some. Once again, they renounce their gang though, right? They renounce it. They're changed. They're devout now to a religion. And ain't nothing wrong being devout to a religion or finding God when you're incarcerated. Because I mean, being incarcerated is the belly of the beast. So I mean, finding light in the darkness right there. That's why so many people come to God, because they're locked up in that darkness right there. But you know, it's interesting for Big Durk, right? Big Durk did all that time, stood solid, you know, even as a Muslim, he never told, right? And I don't think that not snitching is just a criminal thing, right? It's more of an honor amongst men to a degree, right? Taking out the criminal properties of it, right? It's an ownership issue, right? Like if you do something that you know is wrong and then you get caught for it, you can't cry and point the finger and do none of that shit and sacrifice somebody else's life for yours so you can get back out there because you fucked up. Nah, like, no, it don't work like that. But, you know, looking at the world at large today, I mean, you look at some of the celebrity figures and entertainers that have done this blatantly out there in the open. And I mean, they're still open-armed, being received by their communities. And, you know, there really is no, like, law and order for that no more. And it's crazy though. Once again, we got to go through all these struggles and all this right here just to realize all that shit is nonsense though. You know, nonsense. And, you know, young cats that be on this channel, I hope y'all take heed, not just to me, but to all the other stuff you hear from these cats that's already been down that road, that a lot of y'all are traveling, because a lot of y'all are hard-hitted and y'all going to have to go down that whole path yourself. And may God be with you on that journey right there, because that's a path right there that's full of bumps and bruises and all kinds of good shit. But y'all let me know. Am I making sense to y'all? Let me know in the comments right there. I know this shit might be going over some people's heads. You know, it's a little bit deeper than the surface conversation and all the other little Durk videos that are floating on your motherfucking timeline. But that's why this channel is Views of a Go-Getter. And if you made it this far in the video, show your boy some love. Hit me with that young like. And you know the properties, man. Hit that sub up button if you ain't subbed up. Subscribe. We almost at 20K. I can't wait till we get there. And I'll match y'all on the next one.
I destroyed my community. I was destroying my people by doing these things. I didn't gang bang against nobody else. I was gang banging against my own people. I wasn't selling to nobody else. I was selling to my own people. So don't look at me in a way that you figure that this is a way that you can sit up here and say that he's all right. I wasn't all right. I'm all right now because I'm in a state of redemption. I'm in a state of repentance. So I owe this, Craig, to Craig. I owe this to Craig, you, Kirk, and all the brothers that brought me into this. Ali, all the brothers that brought me into it. I owe this first and foremost to God to show that I'm true about my redemption. I owe this to myself to right a lot of the wrongs I did out there. I owe this to my community to try to rebuild back what I destroyed out there. I owe this to my people to stop them to thinking that this is a life they need to live. We don't need to be killing one another. We don't need to be gang banging another one. We don't need opposition. You know that sentence they gave me, Kirk, that life sentence they gave me, that was a harsh sentence. That was harsh in the definition of what harsh is. They do things in state and the federal, give us harsh sentence. But you know who gave more harsh sentence than they do? We give each other harsh sentence.
Capital punishment is placed upon everybody opposition. You see opposition, the first thing you do is give him capital punishment by killing him. And that's the worst thing you can do, is take a life. So you think sitting in jail, you looking at yourself and saying, hey, these people are doing me wrong. But you forgot you're doing the same thing, because you're doing capital punishment on anybody you run into out there. So these things got to stop, and we got to put the boots on the ground. We got to take me and everybody that's getting out this prison now and put boots on the ground and get to these youngsters and let them know this ain't no glorified life. This ain't no way to live.